Well, hello, good evening, good afternoon, good night. Some of you are nighttime zone. So I am so happy to just reconnect with you again here on the Kingdompreneur Moment Live Show. I am your host, International Kingdompreneur Coach Doreen Lettsome Reid, builder of Confident Woman Incubator, the key to unlock what's inside you, the confident woman as you increase. Yes, ma'am, I said increase in four key elements: spiritual, develop a professional, business, as well as the core foundation, self-care, to boldly proclaim your faith in the worldwide marketplace as you gain clarity of your mission, message, and mandate. So I'm glad that all of you are here joining us on the Kingdompreneur Moment Live show. We want you to go ahead and share. Yes, share it. Don't hog it and hoard it to yourself. This is going to be some good stuff today. We have one of our Confident Women Rise co-authors, and we're going to talk about Confident Women Rise Readers Tour and Conference today, so you don't want to miss it. So go ahead and share it with your friends. Go ahead and like the video. Go ahead and comment on the video, and let's get involved. So with that being said, you already know what to do. Drop it in the comment. Hashtag the confident woman. So we are glad that all of the confident women from worldwide, we're calling you from the north, south, east, and west here on the Kingdompreneur Moment Live Show. We want to give a special shout out to Confident Woman Incubator podcast audience, which literally has 6 platforms already, y'all. It blows my mind. I tell you, we're already global on Confident Woman Incubator podcast. And so I am so glad that you are continue to share the podcast, continue to listen to the podcast, and getting involved. And so we want you to go ahead and drop it in the comment. Hashtag the confident woman. So with that being said, we're going to welcome our beautiful guest. Ain't she pretty, y'all? There she goes. Look at her. Ain't she pretty? This is Dr. Margo Wright Williams. She puts up with me, y'all. I tell you what, I love this woman. She's amazing. She's very smart. I always keep smart people around me. Of course, we got the glasses going on. So I can't go wrong with being around smart people. They make me look good. I feel good. So this is a win-win situation. So Dr. Margo, how are you today?
I am very well today. Thank you. Thank you. How are you?
Well, I'm better because I'm with you, obviously.
Well, that's awesome.
And we talked about me coming to Columbia and having lunch, and I told you, I said, I don't think the restaurant can take both of us. I don't think it's gonna probably, because I burn boxes for a living. I don't want to go and burn the restaurant down, so I don't even know if they can handle us.
Yes.
And then I told you we got to have Erica come too, so it will really be a trip. But
Absolutely.
I am coming to Columbia. We're gonna have a good time. So, Dr. Margo, tell us, you submitted your chapter. You are a Confident Woman Rise co-author. Tell us a little synopsis of who you are as well as your chapter.
Well, a little synopsis is that I am one of those women that was a 60s baby. And, there were a lot of profiles that you saw that really did not look like us when you looked at television and all of that. And I was one that watched Leave It to Beaver and, Our Father Knows Best and all of that, because those were the images that were provided. And I grew up believing that on one hand, I wanted to have the career and all of this, but on the other hand, I wanted to be that traditional wife and mother that took care of things and looked pretty all the time, all of those kinds of things. And so over the period of time, I realized that, yes, I wanted both, but they all came with a cost. And I also knew that God was calling me to ministry. So I had to make some adjustments and turning points so that I could rise and not really be in the image that was portrayed for me, but be in the purpose that God had outlined for me. Does that make sense?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I really enjoyed reading your chapter because I had to read all of the Confident Women Rise co-authors chapters. I got up 4:00 that morning to make sure everybody was ready to go to print. So I worked a probably 20-hour day because from 4:00 in the morning to I think 9:00 at night, I was reading and making sure everything was ready to go. And just to have the privilege to have an insight into each and every one of the co-authors' story. And you all have not seen each other's stories. So not only are you co-authors, but you're readers of Confident Women Rise. And from that perspective, you told us about your synopsis of your chapter as a author. Now let's flip the script to you being a reader of Confident Women Rise. What do you think is going to take place to unlock what's inside you as a confident woman as you read these 20 amazing stories? Hold on a second. We got,
So
okay, go ahead.
I think with having 20 stories, that would lend itself to so much diversity. One of the wonderful things that we have when we do anthologies is that everybody's journey is different. You never know whose story you can identify with. You don't know whose story can inspire you. You don't know whose story really can challenge you. And so, as a reader, when I think about it, I'm looking to see almost like color variations. I like color. I have color on the walls in my house and all of that. And I think that when we're reading each person's story, we have to look at the individuality of each person and why it's that way. Like my favorite color is green. I'm sitting here in my office and it's green. Green just energizes me. And to me, it shows life and it shows health and healing and all of that. So when I look and I began to read these chapters, I'm thinking about that person's name that I don't know, and I'm trying to establish a connection with the name, with their bio, and what they're saying, because that helps to color the picture. It helps to make the canvas very, what I would say, beautiful. So, and vibrant. So, as a reader, which I've been a lifelong reader, as a reader, I'm looking for, I want messages that are going to speak to me. And I believe that with 20 authors, there are probably several messages that are going to speak to a different part of me as I'm reading.
Yeah, because see, you're taking us from the 60s to now and helping us relate as women, wives, and mothers and business women. That what we see on the TV is not necessarily what God wants us to do. That could be somebody else's reality, because we have a lot of reality shows, and some of it is fake and fiction, and some of it is real. I'm not into that, but my point is the fact that your story here, Dr. Margo Wright Williams, has taken us from the 60s, which you used the example Lever to Beaver, and now you're telling us, look, that wasn't what I thought that's what I wanted, but God said something different. And I had to arise in my confidence to go ahead and pursue what God wants me to do. And now you're literally sitting in a classroom servicing people from, in your college. You're servicing women as a coach. You're servicing women in business. You're servicing women around the world here on Kingdompreneur Moment Live Show and Confident Woman Incubator Podcast, because we're global. So, how does that make you feel as an author as well as a reader?
Very blessed. I feel very blessed and very, just very honored. And I'm grateful to God to know that He is a redeemer of time. Because over the years of my life, there were two realities that were going on. What it is that God is saying, and what is it that you're in your natural mind, you're desiring or hoping for. And then when you're really in God's hands and you're praying, it doesn't matter what it is that you think that you want that's better. He's going to deal with you for you to make a choice. And the best choice is to select what it is that He's telling you to do. So I think as a reader and just one who has come through many transitions, I'm excited today because where I am today, I feel as if probably if I had the wisdom and knowledge that I have today when I was 35, I would have done many, many things differently. So I like to share with as many people as I can about truly embracing the time that you're in and being obedient, the importance of being obedient to the voice of God over any and everything.
Absolutely. And that in itself takes confidence.
Yes.
when we get to a point in our lives, we think that it's going to be look some a certain way, going to feel a certain way, going to show up a certain way. We've even gotten to the point where we're disappointed.
Yeah.
Like in my journey of 20 years pursuing my education, I just did not understand. I'm like, what in the world is going on? And then when I started my business in 2008 and then 2010, everything just collapsed on me. I'm like, what in the world? I was very confused because it didn't look like or feel like what I thought. But God used that time of what I thought was collapse to really expand me and allow me to complete my 20-year education journey, graduating cum laude, not one time, but twice, getting scholarship money. And, now back in business to be able to be in position and condition to serve women around the world as an international kingdompreneur coach. And for me, as a reader of Confident Women Rise, I feel that my confidence level has literally risen up to another level. Even though I'm the visionary, even though I'm the one that God gave this project to, make no mistake, I have really allowed God to let your stories elevate my confidence. And I want to just camp out right there because we're both educators. You're still in education. God bless you. I've been delivered, but God bless you. Yeah. I didn't even want to go in the classroom. Who would have ever thought that this little 5-year-old girl that was told could not read and would not read in kindergarten, and they put my nose and my face in the corner for the entire kindergarten year,
Oh my.
and no human person ever taught me how to read. Who would have ever thought that God would take the foolish thing of man and confound it, and takes the foolish thing and confounds the wise, and literally place me. We had so many arguments about this. He sent me into the school system in 1996, and I remained there for 19 years. Who would have ever thought that that same little girl would be teaching reading,
Hmm.
teaching book coaching? I am a book coach as well. You all know the coaching that I gave you to get you to the finish line, to not just invest in yourself, but to get you to the finish. That's a different kind of coaching, because a lot of people can have the money to invest, but did you finish? Did you
Hmm.
finish what you invested in? Are you going through the process of promoting yourself and marketing yourself? So you want to speak to that, Dr. Margo?
Now, specifically, tell me again, what do you want me to answer?
Well, I kind of like want to give you get your feedback on all that, because you're an educator too.
Hmm.
And coming from a reader's perspective and the things that you've gone through, and you're listening to my story, he just does things like that. He takes the foolish things and confounds the wise. And see, we're talking about Confident Woman Rise tour, a readers tour and conference today, and the readers are actually going to be taking the stage as the hosts, because
Okay.
without the readers, there was no need to write an anthology. So we want to celebrate our readers, and I want to kind of talk from a reader's point of view right
Okay. Well, when we read, one thing I can say, I attribute my reading to my parents, really. My mother was a very intelligent woman who read a lot, and she read all sorts of material. And I can remember being a little girl getting up, to get water or, go to the bathroom at night. And she might have been sitting in the family room with the lamp reading all times of the night. And as a little girl, during the summers in particular, I would say, "Oh, I'm bored." And she'd say, "You cannot say you're bored. You're not bored. There's no reason to be bored." She would go into this litany about, you need to read. You can go anywhere you want to go. You can do anything you want to do. If you read, you got to get in the story. So I always knew if I said I was bored, it was going to be a trip to the library the next day or the next few days. But I appreciate that today, because even as a mother, our son, he was one that he was a little boy that he carried back at that time. He carried a little cassette player and the books on tape. So whenever I was in meetings or we were on the road traveling or something, that kept him occupied. And today he is a very, very good reader, a very um, He's his knowledge in many things is, it's very deep because he has read so much. And so as a reader, one who is an experienced reader, one who has seen what reading does, what I do know and what I've learned is that reading has a way to minister in and of itself, because what it does is that it can relax you, it can reduce stress. My mother used to say reading is like an escape. It's like I was the little girl that always had the dream of going to Paris because I had read these Madeline books about Madeline walking down the street. So, I could imagine myself on those brick streets. I could imagine myself in The Secret Garden, which was one of my favorite books as a child. I could imagine myself going into that house that had the 100 dresses. So, when you stop and you think about what reading does, it really meets something that's on the inside of you that is probably needing to be kindled a little bit. So, as someone who is a reader, I believe that just reading these stories, it will propel, it will kindle, it will may even catapult things in people's lives that they have not known that they need to embrace the time and move forward in it. I anticipate that as readers, all of us who are reading, that one thing which no one can ever take from you that will always add to your life is reading has a way of enhancing your vocabulary. Reading has a way of helping you to communicate well. And so I believe that when you're a reader, and I teach this to my students, I'm a computer teacher, and but I won't use the computer with everything. I like for the students to research. I try to make sure that they are using all of their skill sets, and then we'll put this to technology. But some of the basic foundational principles that we use to learn, I believe it still needs to be employed not only with students in school, but with adults, because we can get so rote with holding a phone or a laptop and those kinds of things, and being on social media and not really taking the time to invest our minds in what it truly means to soak up words from the pages of a book. And so to me it's fascinating. I guess you can tell because I do believe in reading. I have a vast library here in my study and in our family room. We have a large bookcase, and there's all types of materials because I believe that there are so many people who have poured their heart, their life's work into writing. And it's not for, sometimes it's just for that person to dump it and get it out. But I think most of the time it is on paper because there is somebody that, even if it's one sentence in that book, that it will make a difference. And so with this anthology and the fact that you're talking about rising and being confident, reading does increase a person's confidence, but it depends on what you're reading. Because having confidence in something that is negative or having confidence in something that is contrary to God, that's not what we want. But see, this book is a kingdom book. So it would build a person's confidence in the anointing that God has placed in their lives. And so I'm excited. I'm excited because I believe that there are going to be some young adults, and I don't believe that it will be restricted to women. I
No, it's
believe
not.
there will be men who will read it as well, because the principles that we're talking about, this is kingdom principles, and in that case, it is for everybody. So I'm excited. I believe that as a reader, there'll be some people who will use this book to be a devotional. I believe as a reader, there will be some people who may pick up this book casually when they have free time. And I believe that there are some people as a reader who will use this book and they will journal through this book, because with 20 different authors, and all of the diversity, there is something that's going to be for everybody that picks up that book, and there's going to be a takeaway from each chapter. I don't believe that this is something that is not God ordained, and I believe there's purpose in every person's story that will be read in those books.
Yes, and that's what makes Confident Women Rise Readers Tour so unique, because we are including the readers in our conference. The readers, once you pre-order your book, you're literally coming to the stage and being a host for the conference. And so the reader is actually the one that we are celebrating in Confident Women Rise Readers Tour and Conference, because we want readers to tell us what you gleaned from, what was the key that you read to unlock what's inside you as a confident reader. And so this is a very unique platform where readers, once you pre-order your book, you will be coming to the stage as the host, and you will actually have an opportunity to interview me as the visionary, and also to be a part of my VIP readers room, the readers room, where we can actually spend one-on-one time together talking about my book, Leaders Rising the Confident Woman 21-Day Journal. And so we are going to have all of this available for the readers, for the speakers, for the sponsors that want to sponsor this amazing, unique, worldwide driven conference, Confident Women Rise. And I am just so excited. And we've been having here on the screen the email that you can contact me if you would like to go ahead and be involved as a reader, a speaker, or an influencer. You have Confident Women Rise, and the conference email is info@doreen.lettsome.read.com. Make sure I put that .com there so that there is no confusion of what it is. So let me go ahead and update that for you now. So that's Confident Woman Rise Tour and Conference, the email, and I will receive it directly. Information at DoreenLetSomeRead.com. Now, we will be releasing the Bitly link soon, but for the purpose of this show, you're getting the preview of what is to come. And you can also get involved early. You can be a part of it early by just going ahead to emailing me at info@DoreenLetSomeRead.com. And so, with that being said, we are just so thankful for Dr. Margo taking the time out to be with us, because she is at work. And guess what, Dr. Margo? Tomorrow is my birthday. I am so excited. Tomorrow is my birthday. And so, if anyone wants to sow a seed into my life and to what God has called me to do in the earth of appreciation and celebrating with me, my Cash App is Unlock What's Inside You. And so, I am going to be taking off tomorrow. I'm going to be going out of town. I haven't decided all of what I want to do, but I will be enjoying my time with my family. And
Mm-hmm.
I am just so excited that tomorrow, Friday, October 8th, is when God chose to bring me into the world, and He has been the one to keep me. So that in itself is so exciting, because all the stuff I done been through, I just told someone yesterday that I was talking to, I said, it's amazing that I'm even in my right mind, health, and strength, much less doing all the things that I do, coaching women from around the world. So I am so grateful. Dr. Margo, anything you want to say as we wrap up talking about Confident Women Rise, the Readers Conference, the tour, the book, anything else you want to say?
I guess what I'd like to say is, for someone who may be feeling as if they could not do some of the things that maybe they desire, or some of the things that they believe that God is telling them to do, to remember that all things are possible to those who believe in the Lord Jesus Christ. And so purchase the book, be a part of the tour, because what's going to happen is that their faith in God is going to increase, and so will their confidence, so that they can rise to the level that God has ordained for them.
Absolutely. So we do encourage everyone to go into your email and get involved early with Confident Women Rise Readers Tour and Conference. You can email me at info@DoreenLettsome.com, and I look forward to getting those emails. And I am so excited that we are getting ready to launch this. And this, of course, is one of our other co-authors, Tanya Moore. She's saying, God bless you, beautiful women of God. So we appreciate Tanya. She has an amazing chapter too called Light. So I really liked it, her chapter. So it's going to be amazing for y'all as authors and readers to read Confident and Rise. So I'm so excited. Thank you for Dr. Margo for joining us today. Thank you all for watching the Kingdompreneur Moment Live show. Special thanks to Confident Woman Incubator podcast. I appreciate my podcast audience so much. Continue to click the link to be a supporter of the podcast. Go ahead and download this episode of the podcast, share the podcast, and above all, support the podcast. There are different increments of support there for you. And with every incentive that you decide to support the podcast, we have a special gift for you. And so get involved with Confident Woman Incubator Podcast. Go ahead and click that now so that you can hear the episodes every week, getting involved and knowing what's going on, because Confident Women Rise Tour and Conference is going to be featured on the podcast. Let me say that again. Confident Women Rise Tour and Conference will be hosted and presented by Confident Woman Incubator Podcast. So that's a little different twist than normal. And so I don't do normal, right? Because I burn boxes for a living. So I'm very excited about this new platform and building the platform and getting the message, the mission message and mandate of confident women all around the world to hear what we're doing and to be a part. So with that being said, we will see you next time. Have a good one.